Good morning, it's Becky Bamboo. I am going to cook something for dinner tonight. It's about 11 o'clock here, so it's not real early in the morning. But since everybody's been asking for what do I eat, what do you eat, what do you eat, what do you eat, I get that a lot. I decided this is like my week of cooking videos. So I've shown you the ribs, I did brownies. Today I'm going to make chili. I know everybody has their own recipe for chili and how they make it. I'm just going to show you what I like to do with mine. For me, I almost always exclusively use ground turkey in my chili. I don't buy the, I think they make one that's ground, like breast meat maybe. I just buy this one because it's cheaper. And I think it's like half the cost usually. And I actually need to, I'm going to cut it open to make it easier on myself here in a minute. So I use ground turkey. I always buy Brooks chili beans. That's the brand that I like. That's what I grew up eating. My grandmother swore by Brooks chili beans, and that's just kind of where I'm at with it. I always buy a big can of hot and a little bit smaller can of the mild. For me, I would probably get both of them hot because I like things really spicy. My husband, he likes spicy, just not overly so. And this seems to be a good combination for us. Sometimes we flip-flop it and do a small can of the hot. It just depends. It kind of whatever my mood is. I always like to add tomatoes to my chili. Tomatoes are one thing that I change up a lot. If I have fresh garden tomatoes in the summertime, I just dice them up, add them in. Sometimes I buy, we'll buy whole tomatoes and put those in. Today I have, I don't know if you can see it, fire roasted, diced with garlic. I happen to be a garlic fanatic. I love garlic, so I use a lot of it. In addition, I have spices. I have chili powder, garlic powder, which more garlic. I told you guys I like garlic, and onion powder. I will also use just regular salt and pepper to help season the meat up a little bit. Then I'm a veggie person when it comes to chili. I always add fresh garlic. I'm telling you, I love garlic. Fresh garlic, celery, and onions. Really the big thing for me in chili, I love tomatoes, celery, and onions. Those are the really big ones that I like to have in there. I don't always make it that way. Sometimes I make it without veggies because my husband likes it without veggies sometimes, so I mix it up. More often than not, I add veggies in. So, okay. I use, this is a slow cooker, not a crock pot. This is a crock pot. This is a slow cooker. They're very different. A slow cooker actually only heats from the bottom. It has a heating element on the bottom. The pan is actually removable, which I find to be really handy, especially for making chili. I can take this pan and I can put it on my stovetop and I can actually brown all my meat in here, throw my veggies in, and then just put it all together. I don't have to use a separate pan to brown my meat, which I love. You can make chili in a crock pot. I've never tried it because I always have my slow cooker. So anyway, I'm going to take this stuff down here. I'm going to turn on my stove. I use gas if you couldn't tell. And I'm going to open up my turkey and throw it into the pan. This is just 1 pound of turkey. And then I'm going to come over here at the table. And I have sea salt and black pepper, which I will put in on this meat. Because when you cook with turkey, with ground turkey, you got to really season it. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, so it's really important to season it well. Break this up. Just breaking up the meat a little bit. Turn this down, it's a little hot. I love cooking on gas. It gets everything, the pans and everything get hot really fast. So I got that started. It'll break up more as it cooks, you know. Just starts off kind of weird. So salt and pepper are done. Put them back over here. And get my seasonings. While this is cooking, I always like to add my seasonings as it's browning. I find that to to work really well and just seasoning things up. So I always start with my chili powder. I have just a little standard thing. I buy my chili powder at a local place and just refill this jar. I buy it kind of like in bulk. Now chili powder, as you guys know, is spicy and adds more heat. So I don't measure stuff when I cook. Very rarely. If I bake, I do. But cooking, I'm more of like a sprinkle here, a pinch there kind of person. I just kind of know, based on past cooking, what to do. This is garlic powder. I won't put a ton of garlic powder in here because I have garlic in the tomatoes and garlic in fresh garlic. And then this one is the onion powder, which I will sprinkle in. And I do have real onion to put in there, so there again I won't put a lot. Sometimes if I don't use the fresh veggies, I'll use like minced onions in here, or a lot more onion powder, a lot more garlic powder. Just depends. You know, chili's, the wonderful thing about chili is it's one of those dishes where you can just kind of control whatever you want to put in it. You know, whatever flavors you like, put them in there. It's really not a big deal. Alright, so I'm done with my spices. I will put them back down here in my little lazy Susan. I'm going to need my veggies next, so I'm just going to grab my big old cutting board and bring it over. I got this cutting board for Christmas, and I just love it. I love a big cutting board. Because I use a lot of fresh veggies in my cooking, and it's handy to have a good cutting board. Okay, I gotta say, this is a challenge to do one-handed. Trying to make sure I keep you guys seeing what I'm doing, but paying attention too. So I just let this brown a little bit. I have to get a pot holder because the pot's going to get hot, and every time I always try to pick it up when it's hot. It smells really good. If you guys are not accustomed to ground turkey and you like ground beef in your chili, then by all means ground beef it. For newbies out there who are have not had surgery yet, or just fresh post-op or whatever, ground beef for me was something I couldn't have for 6 months after surgery. So be aware. I learned to just start using ground turkey from like early on, and I like the fact it's so much leaner and better for you, and my husband likes it, and that's pretty much, we substitute for almost everything now. I mean, occasionally we'll have beef in just a certain select few dishes, but for the most part we use the ground turkey. It will put off some like water and stuff. You can kind of see, if that bothers you, you can strain it off. I honestly am never bothered by that. I just don't care. I leave it in there. I guess it's probably a little bit of fat and grease and stuff in there, but you see, like, it don't bother me. To me, straining is an extra step, and if I'm cooking with ground beef and it's like super, super greasy, then I will. But for the most part, I don't have that problem with it. Alright, so this is close to being brown. I'm actually going to add in my garlic now. Fresh garlic. This is 2 cloves of garlic I'm putting in here. This is going to make a big pot of chili. That's the other thing. When I make chili, I make a huge pot of it, and it lasts us a long time. Sometimes I will even just take half of it, throw it in the freezer, so that I don't have to make it again the next time. I can just heat it up. I find that to be convenient, especially with chili and soups. I do that a lot with my soup too. I actually have some soup in my freezer right now from the last time I made it. Alright, so that's about browned. I'm going to add in the rest of my veggies. Onions. Now, I like to leave my veggies chunky. This is going to cook all day until tonight. It's like 11, not quite 11:30 here, and we probably won't eat until about 6 o'clock, sometimes later. So this is going to cook all day. The thing with veggies is they will cook down tremendously. That looks like huge chunks of onion, but tonight when we get ready to eat it, it won't be. It'll just be small little pieces. And actually, most often I find that the onions seem to just kind of melt into the chili and you don't even know that they're there. Alright, bunch of celery. So that was one large yellow onion. I like to use the yellow ones. I like the sweetness of them. Celery, this is, I would say, about a half of a bunch. You know, you buy a bunch of celery. I don't know what you call it. But it's about a half a bunch. I hope it's not too much in here. Sometimes I get carried away with my veggies and then my pot's not big enough. But so I like to just kind of like cook all these together on the stovetop for a little bit. Give the onions and celery and garlic a chance to kind of marry together and kind of wait, you break off. They kind of marry together and they kind of start to soften. And as they soften, they kind of take up a little bit less room in the pot, so that's always good. I didn't get some of these cut very well. I was trying to hurry. I should have thrown this together way earlier today, but you know, whatever. Usually I make my chili like first thing in the morning, so I'm a little behind the times. But so this will just sit here and cook for a few minutes. And I can get rid of my cutting board. Bring it back over here. I have a really lovely, huge kitchen, and that makes it so nice for cooking. I have tons of counter space to use, and I even have like a lot of crap on my counters, but I still have a lot of space, which is nice. That was the huge selling point of my house. Love to cook. Cooking's one of my favorite things to do. I see there's more that didn't cut apart. I have to pay better attention with my celery cutting. I hate this black stovetop. It always looks dirty, even after I clean it. So anybody in the market for new appliances, don't buy black, especially if you have any pets. It's no good. Alright, so I'm going to let these kind of sit here and cook for another minute. And I'm going to grab just the can of tomatoes for now. And these tomatoes smell so good. This Hunt's fire roasted with garlic. I have never tried this before, so I'm really kind of excited about how they're going to be in here. And once again, you know, if you like other veggies, feel free to add them in. Celery and onions and tomatoes to me are just required in chili. And I grew up, I did not grow up eating chili like this, by the way. I grew up in a family of ground beef and bean chili. You didn't put veggies in it, you didn't put tomatoes in it, you didn't put, I mean, it was just straight up chili. It wasn't hot, spicy chili, and I like spice, so it's kind of fun as I grow up and have experimented in the kitchen and realized what all things I can actually make happen. Alright, I'm going to throw these tomatoes in. I'm just putting the juice and all, because these don't look overly juicy. Sometimes when you buy just like canned whole tomatoes, there's a ton of juice with them. Those I drain and only put in the big pieces of tomato. Smells so good. Alright, so now I got to put you down. I'm going to set you down right here. I'm plugging in my Crock, slow cooker, excuse me. And I'm going to bring over the pot off the stove. And put it onto, now I'm on the slow cooker. And things are just getting happy. They're all getting so happy together. Alright, so now, this is pretty simple stuff, guys. I'm going to pour in